Good morning, everyone. Hello, welcome. Hope you're having a good morning so far. We had a nice sunny week here, but it's kind of cloudy this morning. I'm hoping the sun comes back out again later today. I am just going to take a minute to go over to my page and make sure this is actually streaming so I can see your comments. One moment while I get there. Okay. There we are. Okay, ready to go. Hello again. Thanks for joining me. And let's put this guy here because this is what we're going to make today. And I have to say, I had a ridiculous amount of fun just shaking this. So there's all this confetti in here and it's a shaker card. It's just like a ridiculous amount of fun, at least for me. Anyway, we are going to be using the ice cream corner suite to make this. And this is the stamp set. So it's got some great sentiments in it. And then you can build popsicles or ice cream cones, and there's some different toppings you can put on there. So that's kind of fun. And then there's the ice cream cone builder punch. And this punches out this ice cream and this cone stamp. So you can make your own ice cream cones. That's how we're going to do those guys. So that's kind of fun. And there's, at the moment, there's still available the ice cream corner designer series paper. We're going to be using one of those today. Actually, we're going to be using several of those today. So this is one of them. So you've got some sprinkles on it. And the other side has some ice cream cones. And then there's just some fun splotches on some of them. So we've got some different color splotches here, and then green polka dots on one of them, purple stripes on one. Set those aside. And then this one is just kind of a fun waffle pattern like an ice cream cone, which is exactly what we're going to use. And then it's got some other ice cream cones on the other side. And there's a few more papers in there they're really lots of fun, bright colors. And then the last thing that you can still get for the moment is the ice cream corner sprinkles. And that's what we've got inside our shaker card here. I should mention that the January to June mini catalog does end at the end of this month, and the designer paper and the sprinkles do not carry over into the next catalog. So you can still get the stamp set and the punch, but not the sprinkles or the paper. So if you're interested in those, make sure you get them before they are gone. Set those over there for the moment. Okay, so supplies for today. We're going to need a piece of Blackberry Bliss that is 5.5 by 8.5. And I will just fold that over in the middle while I'm here. And once again, my bone folder is in the other room, because it just wouldn't be a Saturday if I had all my supplies here. There we go. We'll use that. That works. And then we need a couple pieces of the basic white. So this one is 5.25 by 4, and that's going to go on the inside of our card. And then this one is 5 by 3.75, and that's going to go on the front of our card. We've got this piece of sprinkles designer paper, and that is again 5.25 by 4. And then we've got all of these bits and pieces. So these 4 kind of splotchy ones I'm going to use to punch out the ice cream for the ice cream cones. And so they are approximately, 2 inches by 2 inches, or 1.75 by 2, something like that. Just as long as it's big enough to be able to fit in this ice cream part of the punch. So we've got 4 pieces of that. So we have 4 scoops of ice cream. And then I've got 2 pieces of this waffle pattern paper that we're going to use for our cones. And these are about 1.5 by 2. Again, as long as they're bigger than this cone part of the punch, that's all you really need. And then we also are going to use this clear medium envelope, and this is what we're going to use to hold all our confetti sprinkles. So I think Oh, and I should show you the inside of the card. We have a nice little ice cream cone in there. And I think we'll actually start with that. So for that, you need the larger of the two pieces of white. So this is the one that's 5 1/4 by 4. So we're gonna just stamp this ice cream cone on here. So I'll get my block. Let me just fold that back so you can actually see it. There we go. Get my stamp set. And we're gonna start with the cone. So we're gonna stamp this triangular piece here first, and then we can use this pattern piece to add it so it looks kind of like a waffle pattern. So we'll start with that cone, and I did the cone in Crumb Cake. So we'll grab that one there, and I'm actually going to ink it up this way so I can make sure it gets fully covered. Now there is kind of a little gap in the middle there. That's part of the pattern. It's not going to cover absolutely solidly. Like if I pick it up there, you can kind of see there's a gap in the middle. That's on purpose. Okay, so we'll just ink that up. And apologies, my phone is ringing. Hopefully my husband will grab that and make it stop and go in the other room. So we're going to stamp that down in the bottom corner there. And clean that off. There we go. And then we're going to switch to, maybe if I can close this one. No, it's arguing with me today. Okay, fine. I'm going to leave that one open for the moment. So we're going to take this cone stamp off, and we're going to get this stamp here that is the waffle pattern. Put that on our block, and then we're going to get our soft suede ink pad. Open that up and ink that one there, and then just kind of get the waffle pattern center-ish over your cone. It doesn't go all the way to the edges. It just kind of gives the idea of a waffle pattern on the cone like that. Clean that stamp off, and then we'll close this ink pad. Oh, see, that one's behaving. I don't know why the crumb cake didn't want to close. It's being grumpy. Okay, so put this guy away, and then we're going to get our ice cream cone stamp, and we're going to kind of mess with this a little bit. So if you can see on mine, it's a light color pink with kind of swirls through it of a darker pink. So how I did that is I used the Flirty Flamingo to ink up the stamp, and then I used my Melon Mambo marker and just colored over it before I stamped it. And you can do that with any stamp you want. You can kind of combine colors on there, but the one thing you have to keep in mind is always go lightest color to darkest. If I color over a lighter color with this, it won't show up because the darker color overpowers it. If I go the other way, if I put a dark color on here and then a light, it will affect my light ink pad or pen. So always, if you're combining colors on a stamp, lightest to darkest. So we'll open up our Flirty Flamingo and ink up our ice cream cone. And again, there's kind of a little gap in the center there. That's on purpose. Get that all inked up with the Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to take the thicker felt end, and literally I'm just going to kind of draw around on here. There. And then we're going to stamp this. Now you can either set your stamp up top, and then you'll have a little bit of white showing between the cone and the ice cream, or you can bring it down so the pink kind of goes on to the brown, whichever you prefer. And if you've done what I've just done and you've inked it up and then sat there for a minute, the ink might be kind of drying, so it might not work so well. So you're literally just gonna, like you're, putting fog on a window, that idea. And then stamp that. And there we go. And the swirls didn't show up quite so well on that one, but that's okay. You get the idea. And we'll close our Flirty Flamingo ink pad, put our marker out of the way, and put our ice cream cone away. All right, and then we need to put this on the inside of our card. So I'm going to flip it over, get my Stampin' seal, and run that around the back side of this card insert. And then I'm going to get my card base that we folded a few minutes ago and put this on the inside. Like so. Here we are. Okay, flip this guy back over to the front. I'm going to knock the confetti down so we can see what we're doing here. Okay, so the next thing, if you can see the layers, so all of this is inside this shaker bag. So what we're going to do is use, I'm going to set this guy aside for a second, get this remaining piece of this slightly smaller white. So this is the one that's 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. All right. So we're going to stamp and build our ice cream, and then we'll put the whole shaker together. So we want our happy birthday sentiment. We will put this down here and get it on the block. Probably should have got a slightly bigger block, but it fits. And I'm going to stamp this in Blackberry Bliss. This guy open and link up our stamp. Get it the right way around. That would help. There we go. And then I'm just going to put this up near the top in the center. Sorry, I just got to bring it a little closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. Kind of get it about there. Okay, clean that stamp off. Those of you that have been stamping for a while will know this, but just in case you're new, you see how that stamp still is pink? That's okay. I've cleaned the stamp. It's just that the first color you use on these photopolymer stamps tends to kind of leave a little bit of a stain, but the stamp is clean and it won't affect any future stamping. You're fine to use it. Okay, put that guy away. And actually I can just drop the whole stamp set away because we're done with that. Close my Blackberry ink pad. I can get my stamping block out of the way. So now we're going to build our ice cream cones. So we need all our little bits here. I am missing, where did my other, how did I manage to lose? Oh, there it is. There we go. All right, so let's open our punch. And then I'm going to just kind of slide this in and just slide it in so that there's no gaps, that the designer paper takes up that whole space. And I just kind of push it just kind of halfway so you can feel it's holding the paper, and then I flip it over, press it down. And there's one cone, and just shake out that extra bit of paper, put it off to the side, and we're going to do that for the other cone. Slide that guy in there like so, and flip it and punch it, and get that out of the way. And then there's these extra little bits as well. We'll get those out. Okay, so there is our 2 ice cream cones. And now we need to do the actual ice cream. So we're going to do the same thing just with the other side. So we'll kind of slot that in there. And you can kind of move it around. So if you want more of the white or more of, if I want some of the green, I can kind of go the other way around. I think I'm going to go mostly with blue on this one. And punch that. And get that bit of paper out of there. Number 2, put that bit of paper in. And I deliberately chose some of the splotches that have that blackberry on it so it coordinates with our card base. You can, of course, get a different color card base to coordinate with any of the ice cream that you like. There. Number 3. Like so. And one more little bit there. There we go. Last but not least, we'll get some of this red in here. There we go. And I'm just going to lock that punch. Just in case you don't know this, when you close the punch, you can slide that slide and it locks it in the closed position so it doesn't take up so much room in your storage. And when you want to use it, you just slide that up and it opens. So you can set that off to the side. So I'm going to bring this back down here and I'm just going to kind of set these in place and build my ice cream cones. So I want them kind of like that. Okay. So I'll slide that cone out of there. And now we need some dimensionals. And I'll put one dimensional on the top there. And what you can do for the cone is if you have your scissors handy, you can just kind of cut a little bit from the edge of your dimensionals and put that down near the bottom. There. Take the backing off of those. Okay, and I'm just going to turn this a little bit. Put my finger on those and kind of slide this back under the edge there. Make sure it goes up enough that it's on the paper. Okay, there we are. So now I can take these off and then one thing when we are adding dimensionals to these ice cream cones, you don't want it to be at the bottom here because then your ice cream is going to end up lopsided. So we don't need to put dimensionals down on this curvy or scallop piece at the bottom, just on this top piece here. So grab a couple of those guys there for that one. And then I'm going to kind of just slide that down a little bit onto my cone. There, and then same thing with the other one. We'll just put a couple of dimensionals at the top. And this guy up here, and I'm going to just move my hands around a bit, hold it by the scallop piece because I don't want it up on top of my happy birthday. So I want to bring it down a little bit so I can still read my happy birthday. There, that's one cone done. So again, I'll just hold the ice cream in place and pull the cone out. Maybe if I can get hold of it, move my thumb up a bit. There we go. And the one dimensional at the top. And again, I'm going to just cut a little piece off the edge. Put that down at the bottom. Oh, I kind of got that guy over the edge. If you're careful, you can peel those off. I'm just going to move it down slightly. There we go, because it was poking over the edge of my cone. All right, get those off. And what I might actually do for this one is, let's see, I want it there and just move those. There we go. And now we'll do the same here. We'll put a couple dimensionals on each of the ice cream scoops. There, and take the backing off these. Okay, put that one on. And then take the backing off the ones on this last scoop of ice cream. And again, I'm going to hold this just by the scalloped edge and make sure I'm not up over top of the words. There we go. Oh, got a bit of ink there. How did I do that? That's okay. It'll look kind of like a sprinkle. Okay, move my scissors out of the way. So now we want to attach this piece, whoops, bring that back, to our piece of designer paper. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal again and run this around the back side of the panel with our ice cream cones. Just be gentle because you are going to run over your cones. That's okay. Just do it gently and you'll be fine. There we are. And center this on our designer paper. There. Okay, so that's ready to go. So what we're going to do now is actually get our clear envelope and figure out which way the flap goes. That's the back, whichever way the flap's going to fold down. You want to put your card in so that the ice cream faces the front, right? So I've got it this way and the flap's going to go in behind. Okay, so what you want to do is get this down in this bottom left corner. So I kind of tap it, shake it to make sure it's down as far as it can go in this bottom corner. And then I'm going to get my sprinkles. Got a little carried away with my first card, so I might put a little bit less in this card. We'll see. And I'm just going to pour some sprinkles in there. Just pour in a bunch, hold that in place and kind of shake them around in there. See if that's enough for you. I think that's good. Okay. Okay. Oh, one of them went around the back there. Let's catch that. Okay. So now we need to seal this. So what I'm going to do is flip it over and I'm going to run my Stampin' Seal just along. I'm running it along the clear envelope, but along where I can see the top edge of this designer paper. Just kind of hold that steady. And now, again, make sure you've got this whole piece down in that bottom corner and fold that over onto that Stampin' Seal you just ran along there. Don't worry if the glue is longer than the tab, because this whole thing's going to get stuck down on our card base anyway. So that's fine. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is peel this runner off the top of the envelope. And again, make sure everything's in as far as it can go. And I'm going to kind of fold. So this edge here that we folded over, it's kind of sticking out in this top corner here. So I'm going to just use my finger to fold that around. And then I'm just going to fold this whole thing over as tight as I can and seal that. Oh, got a little too tight, got the corner of that. There we go. Straighten that out. And there is our shaker. So now all we have to do is attach this to our card. So I'm going to flip this over. You can use dimensionals again if you want, although I find that the plastic actually provides a bit of dimension. So I'm just going to run some Stampin' Seal. Again, just kind of be gentle because you're running over your ice cream. Run that around there. Make sure you get it the right way up. Card opens that way. Okay. So we will center this on the front of the card and press that down. And there is our shaker card. They do kind of get stuck sometimes. The confetti turns sideways, but that's okay. You can just flip them over. There we go. There's our great little ice cream cone happy birthday shaker card. Guaranteed to provide hours of fun for those who are easily amused, which would be me. All right, and that's all I've actually got for us today, just the one card today. I do want to let you know though that 2 weeks from today, on the 29th, I will be doing my regular Saturday Stamping Saturday. But then also on that May 29th from 1 p.m. till 7:30-ish is my catalog launch party. So as you may know, the new annual catalog came out on May 4th. And so on May 29th, what I'm going to do is I will show you the products that I've got. We'll take a quick flip through the catalog, and then there's going to be a bunch of videos of people making cards with those new products. So starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday, May 29th, there'll be a little break for dinner, and then I'll come on live again at 7 p.m. and go through the last few things. And there's going to be some contests to win some credits for ordering. So I will post all that information on both my Facebook page and my blog on Monday, but save the date for that, May 29th. Hope to see you there. And I hope to see you next Saturday for another edition of Stamping Saturday. Thanks very much and have a great week.